and now they're the champions of Copa America football. We'll be discussing all about this in studios. We've been joined by our guest for tonight's football segment, none other than the legendary sports expert that he is, always a regular feature at Sports Extra. Always great to talk to him. He's none other than Mr. Ali Mehdi. Assalamu alaikum, Ali. How are you?
Welcome, Sam. I'm very well, thank you.
We've also been joined by sports expert Mr. Ahmad bin Tahir, who's joined us on Sports Extra as well. Ahmad, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sports Extra.
Welcome.
Right, Ali Mehdi, first of all, Argentina 2-0 is what the result is. And, 1-0, 2-0, 5-0 for what it be. I don't want to talk about the team, first of all. I want you to talk about the fact that we have an individual who's rated as the best footballer in the world right now, Lionel Messi. Somebody who's been so dominant in club football, so dominant in club championships and, all over the world. But when it came to international, he was somewhat lacking the performance or the trophy cabinet that you would expect for a player his stature to have. Now, because Lionel Messi has been able to clinch this first international major trophy in an Argentinian shirt, how special is this for Messi?
This is incredibly special, not only for Messi, Lionel Messi, but for fans of his and, the footballing world. I mean, for football fans and everybody in neutral. Look, Messi has achieved everything in football. He's achieved, he's won everything on the continental front for club football. He's won multiple Champions Leagues. He's won so many, I don't even know how many La Liga titles he's won. He's won domestic cups. But the one thing missing from his resume was an international trophy. And that was something which was really bothering him. Look, this is somebody who actually retired in 2016 and decided he was so disappointed that he actually retired. And then once again, he tried several times, making 3 finals. He's made about 3 Copa America finals, making the World Cup final of 2014, getting so close. So, as a neutral, as a footballing fan, you really wanted him to actually win this trophy. And then finally this curse ended and this monkey came off his back on last Saturday when Argentina for the first time actually won a Copa America in about 14 years. So it's a relief for everybody because Messi has been trying for so long to win an international trophy. And finally you could see the emotion, you could see once they won that how much it meant.
Ahmad bin Tahir, just one goal from Di Maria was more than enough to seal victory for Argentina. The fact is that we would have expected goals galore with the quality that these two teams have in them, especially Brazil. How do you make up of the Copa America final?
I think yes, it was expected that both the teams would score some goals. I had expected Brazil to do better in the attack actually. I think apart from Neymar, none of the other players were on their element today. Vinicius Jr., Paqueta, Everton, Richarlison, none of them were playing that good. Richarlison got a couple of good chances during the game, but he missed them. So I think that yes, Argentina were able to build an excellent goal. It was a beautiful cross by one of their midfielders, and then it was an excellent chip by Di Maria. I think that tactically speaking, Argentina were much superior. They defended beautifully. Christian Romero, he came back from injury, and after that he did not look like he had ever been injured, right? He was playing on the top of his game, playing with full determination. One of their players even got injured during the very final minutes of the game, and regardless of that, they were defending so well. So I think that to be able to block such a strong attack, which is Brazil's, to be able to basically block out players like Neymar and Richarlison, it was a huge achievement for Argentina, and it was a game plan executed to perfection.
Ahmad bin Tahir, Brazil had more of the share of the possession, about 60% of possession that they had, and about 86% of pass accuracy. So one can say that they were superior, and they also had more the shots as well, 13 as compared to 6 from Argentina. But like I said, that probably luck was on the Argentinian side.
I don't think that possession or the number of passes are a measure of whether the team was superior or not. Yes, they had more of the ball, but what were they doing with that ball? They were passing around the Argentinian box. They were not getting in. Even the shots that they were taking were basically wide of the post, and very few shots were actually on target or meaningful shots, right? I mean, there's a difference between just shooting out of your foot, and there's a difference between actually hitting shots that might actually go in. Brazil were just doing it for the sake of doing it. They were keeping the ball for the sake of keeping it. They weren't able to break between the lines. I think that was the Argentinian plan. You score early on, or you just need to score one goal in matches like these, and then you can defend. Let Brazil have all the possession that they need to. Right? Argentina, at the end of the day, they were able to defend so well, and it didn't matter how much possession that they had. The better team at worse than Argentina at the end of the day. I think that it is clinical finishing that was missing. Richarlison, again, I said before, Richarlison got an excellent chance in the second half, and then he missed that. Right, there was not a lot of creation on the side of Brazil. Paqueta was not creating. He was their main creator during the knockout stages of Copa America, but he wasn't doing anything at all. Vinicius Junior was giving the ball away so recklessly. So I think that they certainly weren't the better team. They were genuinely blocked out throughout.
Definitely. Ali Mehdi, 22nd minute is when Di Maria converted that goal and, scored that goal. From there onwards up till 90 minutes, defending against a quality side like Brazil has got to be something phenomenal, because Argentina did have the luxury of people like Montiel, Romero, Otamendi and Acuna at their defense.
Look, Argentina that got their only goal. I mean, it was a brilliant ball by De Paul to Angel Di Maria, and once he got that goal, after that, Argentina just did something which they don't do, which is part of their repertoire, and that was defend. They defended extremely at the back, made it very difficult for the Brazilians. The Brazilians, what they did is they did try their level best. They actually had majority of the possession, like you mentioned, 60% of it. Had about 10 shots in total shots, but they just could not get through that defense.
Could not get through that defense. But that being said, I think the moment where Messi went to console Neymar was the highlight of the Copa America and for football as well, because that level of sportsman spirit still alive in the game says a lot between these two traditional rivals. But nonetheless, a fantastic tournament for football. And moving from one tournament towards the other, the Euro 2020, and what an intense final. Ahmad bin Tahir, your thoughts? Italy up against England. England, a formidable side at Wembley, of course. But once it came to the second half, I must say personally that the Italians were just untouchable.
I think that 35 minutes onwards, Italians were just much the better team during the match. Yes, England scored an excellent early goal. It was a beautiful cross by Trippier. But after that, they just sat back. They refused to control the ball. They refused to take the ball, right? And Italy had all the possession. Italy was staging all the attacks. And I'm very, very surprised that Italy did not win normal time. I'm very surprised the match had to go to extra time with the passion and the determinants that Italy were playing with. I think that as an overall, it wasn't a great match tactically for Gareth Southgate. I think that when you're playing in your own home, you have a lot of fan support, you have a lot of confidence in yourself, but players weren't playing with confidence. Declan Rice and Phillips were basically uninvolved throughout the match. Mason Mount, who's been one of the best English players of the recent times, wasn't involved properly. Harry Kane, Sterling, none of them had enough of the ball to make anything out of it, right? Italy was dominating possessively and progressively as well, and they eventually got their goal. You keep on attacking English Lions, you will get one of the goals, and Bonucci was able to squeeze one in. Not the most beautiful goal, but a goal regardless. And yes, after that, even though the entire match was out of their control, England somehow made it to penalties. And then I think that is where the biggest mistake came in. Gareth Southgate had a very, very bad penalty lineup. Two of his best penalty takers, Maguire and Harry Kane, were the first two. Instead, they should have been the last, because that is how football penalties work. You give the best penalties to players like Ronaldo and Messi. They take the last penalties because those are the ones that matter the most. Instead, the final penalty was given to a 19-year-old player, someone who has played like one full season in English football, Saka, and so much responsibility. The entire nation looking towards him at the very last penalty to save the game, and obviously he was going to miss. So I think that it was a poor game by England. They could have won, but they
should have won, definitely. I'll agree with Ahmad bin Tahir that putting so much pressure on the likes of the inexperienced Saka is just too much for the youngster. Ali Mehdi, do you think one thing that Southgate could have done different was put in fresh legs a bit earlier than what he did in the last couple of seconds of extra time?
I think there were a lot of actually mistakes which Southgate made actually in this match. I understand that he went into a back five and he brought Trippier and he didn't play Saka, but I think it actually worked against England. Look, you needed that creativity. I understand he wanted that battle to actually win that midfield battle, but it went against him. Instead of playing Saka, he brought Trippier, reverted to a 4-3 formation through a back five. And even though they got that early goal, they were brilliant on the onset. But then after that, Italians dominated the match, getting 19 shots, 6 on target, and whereas the English 6 and then just 2 on target. But look, if you look at the match, as the match went on, you saw that the Italians were going to score. The English barely had any chances. Yes, they made a few runs, but it didn't work. And answering your question too, I think that during the extra time, that is where he should have brought fresh legs. He should have brought the likes of Grealish early on, Rashford, Sancho. They should have all come earlier and brought these fresh legs so that they could actually penetrate through that Italian defense. I think these sort of mistakes really worked against the English, because had they brought him a bit earlier, the English would have had a good chance getting through that Italian defense.
Definitely. Ahmed bin Tahir, I'd like to take your thoughts on what kind of a tournament you think Pickford has had, because you really got a feel for the guy. Last night, he'd probably trying his best to save those penalties as well, but just not there for him.
I think penalty-wise, Pickford had a very good tournament. He had a lot of clean sheets, played really well, made some crucial saves for England. Was very unlucky when he conceded that goal by Damsgaard in the semi-final. And then here again, it was kind of a very messy goal that he conceded. There was nothing he could do to stop it. During the penalties, I think he did his best. He was excellent in saving Jorginho's penalty, especially. I mean, Jorginho is one of the best penalty takers in the world, and he's fooled some of the best goalkeepers in the world as well. And being able to save that kind of a penalty under so much pressure in a Euros final was incredible. Yes, you have got to feel for him, but at the same time, I think that he has made some mistakes during this time period as well. He sometimes gives the ball away too quickly and maybe misplaces a couple of passes. But as an overall, I think that after Donnarumma, he was the best keeper of this tournament.
Ali Mehdi, your final thoughts?
No, I think that as you mentioned, Pickford, he had a very good tournament, but he was up against a very technical and a brilliant Italian team. Look, going into this tournament, nobody gave a chance to Italy, but they proved to their doubters that you get the right manager, you get the right set of players, you have the right mindset.
And the emotions of Roberto Mancini probably displayed how important it was for them.
They're one person who doesn't get a lot of credit is Roberto Mancini. We've seen that he's such an incredible manager. He's such an experienced manager. He brought about this Italian team from the ruins. They didn't qualify 2018 World Cup, and through this tournament they got better and better.
Right.
And when they came against the English at Wembley, they actually managed to break down the fortress.
Right, definitely. We're going to leave it at that. Ahmed bin Tahir, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Extra.